Hi guys, you're all very welcome to this LGFA Club Leadership Series. My name is Niall Moraine. I'm head of volunteer development. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Austin here tonight. Austin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Austin. I'm the National Registrar of the LGFA, and we'll go through this webinar tonight on foreign and its potential.
Yeah, and I suppose Austin's probably been he's downplaying his role. Austin's probably the knowledge within the LGFA on ferns. He's all very lucky this evening to have him on talking to about using fern and how we can use fern to utilize our potential. So just before we begin, a couple of things. Just if you have a question, just put up your hand or type into the chat for us. There's a wee Q&A box there that I'll be keeping an eye on throughout the session too. And if you can't hear or see the presentation at any stage, would advise you to log out and log back in, and hopefully that'll solve the problem. So, Austin, over to you.
Yeah, so this is part of the club leadership series, utilizing Fern to meet our potential. So Fern is a vast system, and hopefully you're all using Fern at the moment to register your members. And we'll go through some of the features that you may not be aware of. So an overview of what we'll cover this evening is the LGFA registration numbers, any registration issues that there are, how to upgrade a membership chip, optional injury fund payments, the Fern app, the communication side of Fern, and the benefits of using Fern, and what's coming then in the near future in 2025 and what's coming now down the road. Okay, and our LGFA registration numbers, and like if you want to ask any questions, please feel free. Niall will stop me at any stage if he wants to just double check anything or clarify something. But our LGFA registration numbers now on Fern is over 200,000. This year is the first time we have passed the 200,000 mark. All provinces have increased registrations this year, and that's every year. So we're growing all the time. Australasia have over 1,400 members registered on the system. So we have a lot of countries now registering. All countries, all different parts of the world are now all registering with us. Some on Fern and some not. But with the introduction of the PTS system, the player transfer system now, a lot more of these international units are coming online. So in Ireland and Britain, we have over 1,125 clubs, while worldwide we have over 1,300 clubs in total. So those are
Yeah,
some of the numbers.
and Austin, I suppose this gives you a wee snapshot into, I suppose, how important it is to be able to track these numbers. You know, as you said, it's the first time that our registered numbers have went over 200,000. That's a massive, massive thing. It's a massive achievement for the sport, and it's great to be able to say that and to say that with great accuracy, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose, 2.5 years ago, we had only about 150,000 members registered. So now with increased membership of hitting roughly 10% a year, and all the international units, we have now reached over 200,000 members.
Yeah, brilliant.
The organization is getting stronger all the time. These new clubs, again, we normally deal with about 50 new clubs a year. I'm already dealing with 10 at the moment for this year, starting off this year. So it's a
Mhm.
very progressive organization, and the numbers are showing that.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, so some registrations issues that there are is regarding members sitting on fees due. So last year, we had at some stages we had over 10,000 members sitting on fees due. So that got reduced down to about 7,000. So there's a number of different reasons why this happens. And I suppose the main reason why we're concerned with this is we don't want a player to get injured and them sitting at fees due because then they're not registered and they're not covered by our injury fund. So
Yeah.
that's one of the main concerns.
And just Austin, I suppose in terms of for the layman, fees due, how would you class that's fees that the registration's maybe been made, but the payment hasn't gone through yet? Is that what you mean by fees due?
Yeah, so it's two different scenarios. It's one where the club maybe has registered somebody, or the other option is where the member has paid the club and the
Hmm.
club has not completed the registration, where it's a secondary step with the LGFA and Camogie, while the GA, once you register, it goes straight to being registered.
Yeah.
Whereas LGFA and Camogie is a two-step process.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm always emailing counties, making them aware of what number of members are sitting on fees due,
Hmm.
because we don't want to have to. That's a very awkward phone call for the injury fund people, when somebody is making a claim and they're not fully registered for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose adult members then sitting at fees due, not fully registered. We see this again where coaches might be sitting on not completed by the club, um, and also then adult non-players not completed by the club when they want to vote, and you must be a registered member to be able to vote at your club AGM, county AGM, etc. The second part of this registration issues is members with multiple chips. So this is where clubs are paying members more than once, and it's just making clubs aware that one, they don't need to do it. We offer a refund for anybody who does have multiple chips, as long as the club secretary contacts us before the start of September in the current year. So any multiple chips for 2024 cannot be refunded at this stage, but during the year, these are refunded if the club secretary contacts us. So in total, there's even members registered 3 times. We even had 4 members last year who was registered 4 times. So in total, our membership number was out by over 1,700 due to multiple chips. Why do these happen? One reason could be third-party pieces of software, um, where they're linking members and they're linking them multiple times. Um, Registrations being completed on a mobile, and because you're completing registrations on a mobile, you can't see the complete view, and you're missing that the member has 2 chips. So how a member has 2 chips, again, could be related to a third-party piece of software, or it could be related to that the club um, added the registration chip to them, and then the member goes and pays online. So they end up with two chips, and then the club completes the registration on a mobile, can't see the 2 chips over on the right-hand side of the view, and ends up registering in person multiple times. So these are just some of the registration issues that we just want to make clubs aware of. And, there's a process of how it can be sorted out. But ideally, we'd prefer clubs to understand the system, not be adding chips to members if you want your member to pay online. Wait and encourage them to pay online and then complete their
Hmm.
registration. Okay. So we'll deal with a few of the functions that we want to make sure clubs are aware of. Upgrading a membership chip. So this was introduced in late 2023, and it allows a current paid membership chip to be upgraded. For example, somebody is registered as a Gaelic for Mothers member, and they are a committee member or a coach in the club, and therefore they should be registered as an adult full non-playing LGFA member. Then a club admin can upgrade their existing paid green Gaelic for Mothers chip. And again, this is fully explained on the LGFA website within the registration form section, and the sub-web page of updating a membership chip.
Yeah.
There are set options that can be upgraded, and these are the LGFA set options that can be upgraded. So, for example, Gaelic for mothers to adult non-player, or maybe Gaelic for mothers to youth player, till adult player. So again, there's a number of different options there. These are set, the similar set options for Camogie and the GAA.
Yeah, and Austin, I suppose the big reason why you would want to upgrade your chip would be, as you said, if you have someone who's maybe a Gaelic from another player, but they're also your secretary. So it's important to note that if you register them as a Gaelic from others another player only, they wouldn't have a vote. They wouldn't be able to stand for election. They wouldn't be able to nominate someone at your AGM. So that's probably the big reason why, isn't it? Then obviously, the youth. So if you have a young member who's not playing and decides to play, or if you have a coach, would be a big one, wouldn't it? If you have a
Yes.
coach who's a member but wants to be covered by the injury fund, then you'd have to upgrade the chip with that as well.
Yes, so we're dealing with that with the next slide, but I'll explain it here. It's actually listed there as well. Adult full non-player, adding the optional injury fund payment. So that's where it could be a coach, a very active coach, or a referee, or a lines person who
Mhm.
wants to pay into the optional injury fund, which means they're fully covered, same as a player.
Yeah.
So um, the club can set a membership type up to be, let's say, an LGFA full non-player plus insurance fee, which is €25 extra, same as what an adult player pays. If they set up that membership option, they need to, I would advise the member to make sure the club registrar or the club secretary is aware that they've paid the extra top up,
Hmm.
because it needs to be, when it goes to be approved on the Foireann system, it's a secondary step. So, because it's very easy for a club admin to miss that they paid the extra step. So, I'd always advise somebody who wants to pay that extra fee is to make sure your club registrar is aware of it. But if they miss paying it at registration, they can always do it as an optional top up.
Hmm. No
So,
problem.
So then the second part of this is the optional injury fund payment itself. So the optional injury fund payment was reconfigured on Fern in late 2023, and this was upgraded to explain the payments better. Um, the payment can be made at time of registration, as explained there, or it can be upgraded, as explained in the last slide. A member can pay the extra fee by paying a different membership option set up by the club, but the club admin must select the upgrade to pay the extra charge at registration stage. The extra payment does not automatically transfer over. It's a button they have to select going through the registration, and if there's only one member paying this top up, you have to do that member on its own. You can't do it as part of a bulk upload with 10 other members, basically. This is again fully explained on the LGFA website within the registration forum section and the sub web page optional injury fund payment. So we looked at some of the examples there. I suppose the other one example is that an under 16, under 17, and under 18 player can pay an injury fund top up of €15 to have if they have any part-time job, or even if they're in full-time employment, for their wages to be covered. So that's also part of that optional injury fund payment, as well as non-players who want to be covered the same as a full adult player. For an app side of things, then this was launched 2 years ago for Android and Apple devices. It's again fully explained within the Phone Help Center mobile app topic. Again, it hasn't been overly well developed since it's been launched, but that's being more developed this year in line with the fixtures results system that's being developed, and digital referee reports and digital team sheets, which all should be worked on this year. I suppose they're just starting the fixtures result system, which will be used by counties more. So
Mhm.
that's really the big thing that's being worked on at the moment within Fern. The whole communication side of things, where creating messages, creating events, adding places like your different pitches that you have, that's all um, explained within the communication section of the help portal. And then that's where you set it up, and then you can communicate to each team, and it's all related again to Fern team sheets as well. Really, Fern team sheets, groups, communications are all interlinked. So the most basic part of the whole communication side starts off basically with the Fern team sheet, and then the communications is an add-on function. And um, you can actually set up, as well as club admins and finance admin, there is a communication admin as well that can be linked to each team as well, each foreign team sheet as well. The best place for further information on the whole communication side of them is to review last year's webinar that you can find within the Fern Help portal. So you can go in, visit the webinars, go back to the webinar dated the 13th of March 2024, setting up teams, group and communications on Fern. There's also all the help documents, and then Fern have a new webinar on this topic coming up now on the 18th of March in a few
Yeah,
weeks.
and I know, Austin, it's something we talked about and we said we might leave it to the end, but it's probably a good place to put it in now. When you've
Yes.
got your events, when you've got, especially when you've the team sheets linked up through that and you've got your events linked up to that, one thing you can actually look at and for in there is the calendar. And the
Yes.
calendar is a very, very useful thing as well, because obviously through your events, you can schedule training sessions, you can schedule matches, but you can see them then in your calendar and you can actually mark off who attends and who's there and those kinds of things as well, can't you? As well as it being a communications tool.
Yes. Yeah, I think you've used this end of Foreign quite a bit more so than I have. I'll be pushing everybody towards the help documents because there's so much in there and including the webinars. But you have first-hand experience of that within your club.
Yeah, I know for an underage team I was recently taken, like it was brilliant in terms of, and look, I know not a lot of people might be, they still might be relying on other ways getting information, but any of those using the Fern app, they could actually go in and they could see the training sections, the games, all those things coming up over the next month, which I thought was it was a really, really innovative way of doing it. You know, that it was all contained in one place. I thought it was brilliant. I know I do use the Fern app quite regularly and I can see even all the games that are associated with my own club. They're on the sort of schedule or the diary there as well, so you can see them all. You can see them all coming up, and you can see your fixtures and things like that there coming up on that as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and again with the whole release of the fixtures result system that is being developed really
Mhm.
majorly at the moment, that will really transform on the app.
Yeah.
Likewise, those things that were supposed to be introduced, let's say you're just an LGFA club,
Hmm.
therefore on the app, you can have it that it only displays LGFA information
Yeah.
and not Jane, not Camogie. So there's all those developments to be done in the background. So there's both
Hmm.
app developments that's coming very shortly, and there is the fixtures results system, which means as soon as the referee finishes a game, he'll be able to input the result, and it'll automatically go up on all communication platforms.
Yeah.
So that's what's definitely, hopefully, will be in place by the end of this year. If not, hopefully by August time, they actually hope
Yeah.
this will be in place.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Um, Benefits of using Fern then, it's a cost-effective solution with a low transaction rate of 1.35% charged by the Stripe system. Um, While if you're using a third-party piece of software, you'll probably have monthly charges or yearly charges, maybe both
Hmm.
even. And also the weight of each transaction will be a lot higher than 1.35%. Um, and the clubs that are using third-party pieces of software, as well as paying the 1.35% whenever you have to top up your Stripe account with money to complete registrations. So therefore, you're really paying two, if not three times the amount than you need to if you ran the club all on Fern. But that's up to every single club and the way they are set up. But this just to make it is a very, very cost-effective system. It's a lot cheaper than any other systems is out there, just at 1.35%.
Hmm.
It ensures full compliance of all the associations and all GDPR requirements. It's time saving for clubs, streamline management of administrative tasks into one platform, and access to other association incentives such as National Club Draw, there's green grants and everything for clubs.
Yeah.
Um,
I think from maybe an LGFA point of view, Austin, I suppose a lot of those stuff would be applicable to one clubs, but even for LGFA standalone clubs, there may be surveys and things that might come out through for the odd time,
that's right.
which is brilliant as well. And then I suppose we haven't even gone into. I know we've focused on registrations here, but even the fact that Fern has turned into a one-stop shop in terms of your safeguarding, your child protection, your sort of Garda vetting, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. All that stuff's contained on there. You've got your qualifications on there. All
Yes.
that's it is really that's the big thing I would see is one of the massive benefits of Fern is that all your information in terms of your involvement with Gaelic games is there in one place.
Yeah, like the whole TOBA, the whole learning platform is now is integrated with Fern, so you can
Yeah.
keep track of all your training courses, all linked back to your membership. So Fern, that was basically it was a big development tool last year that was completed, and as well as all our LGFA
Hmm.
courses that have been uploaded. So there's a lot of benefits to using Fern and using it to its full potential at the moment.
Yeah.
What's coming, as I said there's a new fixture and result system being developed, and this will be in place for counties to use, hopefully by shortly in 2025. Referees can currently be added to a member's record on Foreign. We have 276 without any promotion of this fact. This will be developed further to include other officiating categories. Um, then part of this whole fixture results system will be your digital referee reports. They were going to be hopefully developed by August, I'd say August, September. They are hoped to be in place. And then digital team sheets will hopefully come in place by that stage as well.
Hmm.
That will be a big game changer. We're already, recommending clubs to use for on team sheets, but when digital team sheets come available, it will make things an awful lot handier and, you know, a lot more professional.
Hmm. Brilliant. So some great stuff coming up, Austin, and like I suppose Fern originally probably came in as the return to play system, and a lot of people used it purely for that, and they probably don't realize the potential that they have with Fern. And I know even as a staff group, we would talk to you regularly about what we can do with Fern, and I know there's always updates coming. But it's a really impressive tool, and it's something that can be really utilized for your club, especially for clubs that maybe are paying for, as you said, third party software at the minute. Where this is like the big thing, the standout thing for me is this is free to clubs, it's free to members. It's just a case of registering, and it can do all the things that you as a club are paying someone else to do for you at the moment, isn't that right?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, this thing, I suppose the only thing it can't do really is club lottos.
Hmm.
And that's a Stripe issue, maybe more so than anything. Um, so, um, and again, that may be developed, but at the moment it's not in the near plans anyway.
Very good. Well, Austin, I suppose that brings us to the end of our presentation for this evening, doesn't it? So Guys, thanks for sticking with us and listening to that for the last around half hour. Really, really informative, really insightful from Austin there. Um, I suppose I would just like to thank Austin as well for delivering that. As I say, he's the man in the know in the LGFA when it comes to Fern. So brilliant to have you on the night as well, Austin. So thank you again. And it's really just if anyone has any questions, we'll take them now. And if not, thanks for listening in and thanks for taking us on this evening. Thank you.